Hello ITAM family members. Thank you so much for watching last video and sharing your feedback over the ITAM terminologies. Those are very essential and important to understand. So I tried my best to share my inputs, my experience, my learning about the different terminologies in ITAM in the last session. Thank you so much for your feedback and subscribing to my channel and sharing your comments. In today's session, we are going to discuss more about one of the important pillars of IT asset management, which is HAM. So hardware asset management is really making very huge difference in each and every organization. The reason being, we have to focus on the hardware infrastructure, we have to focus on their cost, we need to understand the size of organization, we have to focus on what we have bought and what we are using, and again who is going to use what. So bear with me through this entire session. We are going to touch each and every aspect and we will be having discussion around all of these pointers. So we will start from ITAM. So ITAM is basically talking about the managing the IT assets. So in each and every organization, you will be able to see the ITAM team, that is IT asset management team, and it is like divided into the two basic pillars. The first one of them is going to be the HAM, and second one is going to be the SAM. Yes, there is a very huge reason why I said HAM first and SAM second. So ham will always come first because without having clarity about hardware infrastructure, we won't be able to perform the software licensing, software compliance, and there is no value to focusing on SAM because you don't know your hardware infrastructure. That's why ham will always come first because ham is going to be the foundation, that is going to be the base, and from hardware infrastructure only we can start exploring, we can start understanding the software infrastructure. So that's why hardware asset management will always come first in picture, and next to that we will be discussing about SAM in upcoming session. But in today's session we are trying to understand the hardware asset management, their fundamental, their foundation, and how ham is creating roadmap for SAM. So we will try to understand the scope of hardware asset management and what is hardware asset management. So first we will try to understand what is hardware asset management and what is going to be the scope of hardware asset management, because we are going to understand what's the value of SAM without having ham. I will say there will be no value on focusing of SAM if you doesn't know what's your hardware state, what's your hardware infrastructure, what are the hardware assets has been owned by your organization, what are the assets getting used by your company, how many of them are authorized, unauthorized. So it's very important to keep a track on your hardware asset before focusing on SAM. So as a part of understanding this fundamental, we will try to understand what is ham. So hardware asset management is basically focusing on managing, tracking, and controlling the hardware assets like laptop, desktop, server, printer. So there will be multiple IT assets which is getting used within each and every organization, but we will be focusing on the top assets or the major assets which involve a lot of cost, and that matters a lot when it comes to the hardware asset. And these assets are making very huge difference that impact on business if we fail to make these assets available on time, because ham team is the one who is playing key role in order to fulfill the business requirement. Because if we fail to deliver that asset on time to the end user or make that asset available to the end user on time, then there that will be the problem. Definitely that will impact on business. There will be a delay in performing the business related activity from end user. That's why it's very important for ham team to make that asset available on time and deliver or hand over that asset to the end user whenever they required or within a SLA. So ham team is going to keep control over the hardware infrastructure. They are going to track and trace the hardware assets. They are trying to understand what are the assets has been owned by our organization, what are the assets has been hand over to the end user, how many assets are already available in stock, what is going to be the future forecasting. So these are the scope areas. This is the scope where ham team needs to focus, because whenever any user joins your organization, the first thing that end user will require while knocking the door of your organization, that is going to be the hardware asset. It can be laptop or desktop. And who is going to provide that asset to them? It's ham team. So that's why ham team is having very important role in each and every organization, and ham professional is going to make sure that the new joining or the new hire is getting asset on time, because we don't want to impact on our business, we don't want to hamper our business, and that's why we are always making sure that the new joinee will get asset on time. Then also we are making sure that whatever the assets we are buying, that assets are getting onboarded. It means that we are updating this asset into the tool, into the asset register. It can be Excel file or it can be any standard IT asset management tool like ServiceNow, Hampro, or we might have a HP Asset Manager, or there will be a lot of different tools available into the market. Few organization may use the Flexera or the SLM. It depends on the tool availability on your in your organization. You can choose that tool and you can keep updating the hardware inventory record. Then also there are n number of things which ham team is going to perform. We are the one who is going to do the asset allocation. We are the one who is tracking the asset. We are the one who is making sure that asset is in warranty, and we are the one who is chasing with the vendor in order to get the service if your asset is in warranty. If asset is not in warranty and not in working condition, then we have to send it for the disposal. So ham team is playing vital role in order to identify such kind of assets and making sure that these assets are uh, disposed. So maybe in upcoming session we will try to understand how to do the disposal in detail. But yeah, ham team is the one who is making sure that non-working asset and out of warranty assets are disposed. Then we are trying to understand the size of organization. When it comes to the ham, we should understand the size of organization for which we are managing the asset. Reason being, if you are able to understand how many asset, when it comes to the size is indicating that the total number of assets which is owned by your company. Let's take an example. Your organization might have 40k assets, out of which we might have 15k laptop, again remaining 15K desktop, and the remaining 10K is going to be the server. It's just an hypothetical example. So this is indicating that the overall size of your organization in terms of asset is 40K, and we have 15K laptop, 15K desktop, and the remaining 10K is going to be the server. I'm talking about these three categories just because these are the major asset. Your company might have different types of assets like printer, keyboard, mouse, and USB, RAM, SSD. So there will be a multiple another IT hardware assets. But yeah, but here we are considering main traceable, and where we are like cost is very highly involved. We are just considering this example. So yeah, this is how we can understand the size of organization. So once we understood the size of organization, it would be easy for us to keep a track on all the assets, and we will start digging down which asset is getting used by whom, and what are the assets those are in warranty, what are the assets those are working condition, how many assets are available in stock, which user is using which asset, who has returned which assets, and we can track their warranty, and again we can claim for the service from the vendor. So that's the importance of keeping tab over the size of asset. The next one is going to be the asset onboarding. So when it comes to the ham team or the ham professional, it's our job to onboard the asset onboarding is talking about whenever we are buying any asset, be it laptop or desktop or server or printer, we have to make sure that we have updated this asset record into the asset register with all the details which we received in the invoice or PO. We have to make sure that whatever we have ordered, we have received all of these items. We have to verify their condition. It should not be physically damaged. And once you've done this validation, you will have to sign the receiving copy, which is indicating that you have validated the received goods or the IT assets, and we are okay with this. So ham professional is the one who is responsible to validate and verify the asset condition at the time of receiving the asset. Once they receive the asset, they have to update that same asset into the asset register, and that process is called as asset onboarding. So why asset onboarding is important? Because in order to keep a track of what we have bought, because once you update that asset record into the asset register, you can simply use that asset or that stock book in order to allocate that asset whenever any end user request for the same. So that's why it's very important to do the asset onboarding. And next we have traceable asset, or we will say the non-traceable asset. Traceable asset is talking about other assets on which we can uh, deploy or install some sort of softwares or the scanning agent in order to track or trace their condition or their status of use. A non-traceable asset is kind of we cannot deploy any software, we are not able to track their inventory, or we cannot find their status with the help of software. If you take an example of your keyboard, mouse, so there is no such software which we can install, and we can identify if they are in use or not in use. But on laptop, desktop, or maybe the printer and server, we can simply install the software, and we can understand that where this asset is located, who is using that asset when it is got logged in last time, who used that asset last time, when it got used. So we can track all of this information with the help of scanning agent or the discovery tool. That's why these assets are called as traceable assets. Then again, one of the important role which ham team is performing is client service network and understanding the data centers. Ham team needs to understand how client server works and how the data center hierarchy is going to be within your organization. So if you look at this picture, so this picture is majorly talking about the network. So we might have server. To that server we have connected different devices. We have laptop or desktop, or maybe some mobile devices, some printers, and these all we can consider as a client, and this might be your server machine. And with the help of different client, we are accessing the services of server, because we need some data from server. So client server access is talking about accessing the services of server, or the sharing the data from one device to another device, or accessing the applications which is installed on the centralized server. So client server is basically talking about accessing the services. So client is requesting to the server to share the data or grant an access to access their application. And this is how client server architecture is working. And when it comes to the licensing, it impacts a lot. So slowly and gradually, definitely we are going to discuss more in detail when we start the some sessions around software asset management. We will discuss there in detail, but for now I just want to make sure that we understood what is client server network, and then what is data center. So data center is going to be one of the very highly secure room in your organization, because it contains different servers, and server is going to be the backbone of your every organization, because each and every transaction happening within your organization is getting tracked, monitored, and stored within the server is the one who is helping us to understand the performance, the reliability, durability, accessibility, and the data cleanness and security. So each and everything is available over your server: the performance, the speed, the data, the privacy, and the storage and security. Multiple things is getting control tracked through your server. So it's very important to understand the server. So in your organization there is a room which is called as a data center. Within that data center you will find some server, but server are going to be the part of cluster. So within cluster we will have server, and on top of server there is one important element which is called as processor, and on top of processor you will have multiple cores. So understanding about the server, processor, and core is very important, because when it comes to the software licensing, we have to understand how many processors are available on your server, how many cores are available on your processor. One server may have multiple processor, and one processor may have multiple core. So it's very important to understand the architecture of server and how that server works. And ham team is going to focus on what's the configuration of your hardware, because that is going to impact on your software licensing, and that's why ham will always come first when we start thinking about sam. Then next we are the one who is tracking the hardware asset with the help of discovery tool or the scanning agent. While deploying or doing the handover of any asset to the end user, we have to install the scanning agent on that asset. And whenever that end user start using that asset, we will get a notification as someone is using that asset, when they have started using that asset, because the role of scanning agent is to collect the inventory data from end user's machine and send back it to the server, so that we can keep a watch, or we can monitor, or ham team can monitor the status of this asset, if it's in use or not in use. So that's why hardware asset tracking is very important. Again, ham team is going to focus on the missing asset, lost and stolen asset. Because of some reason we found that in our inventory some assets are updated or recorded, but actually these assets are not available physically in our organization. So in that case, as a part of audit, we have to consider this a missing asset, and we have to start drilling down over this part, and we have to understand why and to whom we have given these assets, why those are not available with us, what was the last status or the historical information about this asset. So we have to start drilling down about this information of this asset. So once we have all of this information with us, so we are good with it, and we will have to start understanding why those assets are not available, and mm, what are the causes. So possibilities that it might get stolen, it might be damaged. Sometime we send asset to the scrap, but we miss to update that record in our inventory as something got uh, s- something has been sent to the scrap or decommissioned or disposed. So we have to understand all of this possibility, and we have to figure it out what is the status of asset those are missing in our inventory. Then we have to understand the stock management process, or the ham team is the one who is keeping track of all the available stock of asset, because it's very important to understand the hardware asset stock. As I said, that ham team or the ham professional is the one who is going to play a very important role in order to make asset available for end user, and the end user is the one who is going to perform business activity for your organization. If we fail to deliver asset to end user on time, then end user will fail to perform the asset business related activity which is associated to their project, and indirectly it will impact on business. But ham team is the one who will make sure that end user will get asset on time and there will be no business hamper. So that's why hardware asset management team will always keep focus on available stock. If stock is less or the assets are not available in stock, they will proactively go ahead and try to make asset available in stock, so that there will not be any delay in order to deliver the asset to the new joinee or new hire. And last one, what's the importance of IT hardware infrastructure and ITAM professional? That's the ham professional. The first thing, ham professional is the one who is trying to build a foundation of each and every organization when it comes to the IT, because without laptop, desktop, server, printer, keyboard, mouse, there will be no value to your IT organization, because no one can perform their operation, their activity without having hardware in place. That's why ham professional is the one who is building a foundation for your entire organization to run their business. If ham professional fail to build the foundation, make asset available on time, hand over that asset to the end user, if ham professional fail to allocate that asset or recollect asset from the employee who is leaving your organization, then that is going to be a very critical issue, and your company may lose lot of money, time, and business values also. That's why in order to grow your organization, we have to keep focusing on hardware asset management, and the person who is taking care of your hardware asset or your hardware inventory is going to be your ham professional. That's why respect your ham professional who is working in your organization, who is keeping eye of your on your IT infrastructure 24 by 7. Kindly to respect that person, because ham is going to be the base for each and every organization. So thank you so much, guys, for your love and support. I would be happy to hear your feedback in the comment. And at the last, I would like to request you to subscribe to my channel if you really love this session, because it will help me to come up with n number of sessions. I have planned to come up with series, first on the ham, and then I will touch to the sam, and then in last I may try to uh, create some sessions on publisher specific licensing. So your comment, your feedback is going to be valuable for me. So thank you so much once again. See you in next session in next weekend. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you.